So the other morning, I was reading my Bible. I couldn't tell you exactly where I was reading, but like all brains do, I went from reading the Bible to thinking about what baskets to buy that would go really well in my closet for organizational purposes. I know I'm not the only one that this happens to. But what did happen next was that I immediately slipped into guilt, and that would typically slip into, okay, let's just focus back on the Bible and don't think about that other stuff. But the thing is that instead of just going back to reading the Bible, I decided to stop and just say, hey, wait a minute, okay, what's going on here? Because I realized that when I stopped myself, I realized that I am super prone to feeling an immense amount of guilt anytime, not just when I'm thinking about what baskets to buy for my closet while I'm reading the Bible, but just the fact that I'm thinking about buying something for myself or for our home. It triggered a lot of guilt where I'm like, oh, God's not pleased with this. I've got to make sure that I'm thinking of, and reading the Bible more and thinking about that more, and just it was just I realized in that moment that I believe that Jesus is a micromanager and that he is constantly thinking or worried that I'm either worried about or constantly just discouraged by every almost like every thought. He's like, oh, okay, that was a good one. Oh no, that was a bad one. You shouldn't be thinking that. And just as if he's constantly micromanaging everything that I'm doing. And I just want to say, I don't actually believe that he does this, but I have this belief, which, okay. So when I'm it's kind of like when I'm actively thinking about this, I'm like, there's no way that I think Jesus is like this. And yet, I have this belief that he micromanages my life and that if I could just get it right, that I would be pleasing to him. And that it's like he's, I don't know, it's just like this weird kind of, okay, yeah. So what am I trying to say? So I have this belief that he micromanages everything and that he's constantly displeased with happy with one thought and then disappointed in the next three thoughts that I have. And then it's just like this daily thing that I'm like, wow, I'm constantly messing it up. But if I could just get it right, then I would be a great Christian, blah, blah, blah. And it translates into a life of where I am trying to live for him. I'm trying to be a Christian from this place of guilt rather than just being in his family and living free in him and with him and actively yes, changing my life and living according to his word, but it's so easily from this place of guilt rather than, I don't even know what to it's guilt versus what I want to say freedom, but it doesn't feel like that wording is quite big enough. But I don't know, that'll be a work in progress because obviously I'm still having to work through this. And it is absolutely important to say that though he's not a micromanager, he does care about the little things, and those little things do matter. And so it's okay, yes, he cares about those small things, and the small things, the hidden things, those don't go unseen by him, but he's not shocked by our weaknesses. He's not, I honestly don't think he's not bothered when my mind drifts while I'm reading my Bible. And it's, oh my goodness, it's such a weird thing to talk about because for me, for you, if you struggle with this, there's just this weird pressure that we live with. Okay, this one's interesting because I just realized this a week or two ago that I had this, or that I relate to Jesus like he's constantly micromanaging my life. And it's funny now as I'm talking about it because I'm this is one that's just kind of hot off the press. So I'm very aware of it feels like pressure. It feels okay, I've got the word that micromanaging, that I feel like he's micromanaging me, but what is the truth? Because I'm not going to say, well, he doesn't care about the small things and that he's just looking for that bigger overall picture that like we know that he cares about the small things, and yet working this out of my life, it's this slow transfer of what do you care about, and what do like just asking him, what do you feel when my mind drifts to other things, and are you disappointed when I'm reading my Bible and I'm thinking about what to make for supper, or and it's not like, man, this is an interesting one, because what so much of this comes down to is that I'm trying to okay, I have this guilty conscience that I named Jesus, and so I've got the true Jesus that I am wanting to follow and please, and then I have the Jesus in my head that is is like the one that I'm constantly relating to. And hopefully that makes sense, because you know how sometimes it's just like there's like the person of Christ that he is who he is, and we need to take the time to know him and relate to him rightly. But then we have this idea of him, and this notion of who he is, or where we think, I mean, for me with this, that I've totally, I think that he is constantly disappointed with every little thought that I have that is not perfectly in line with him, but it's not in line with him according to what I'm thinking is not in line with him. Like, it's just this messy thing. And then I start relating to him based on where I think he should be displeased with me, or it's just this, it's weird. All of this to say, if you are still here up to this point through my rambling, watching this video, all of that is to say that we need, like, so the Bible talks about renewing your mind, and like we need to be upgrading our thoughts, because we go from not knowing who Jesus is to knowing him, knowing that he's the only way to be saved, and then we begin this journey with him, and then it is a journey of learning how to trust him, learning who he really is, having to lay aside the things that we put on him in exchange for the truth of who he really is. And that takes a journey, that takes experiences, that takes a morning of reading your Bible and your mind going to what baskets to buy for your closet, and then realizing that, wow, that immediately slips into guilt, that it slips into shame, that slips into, I am just a huge disappointment to God, and he can't really possibly use me, and I'm just like, I haven't arrived yet, because I'm still so messed up that I'm thinking about something to upgrade my home that would make it work better. And it's just, this is so much, at least for me, this is so much of my walk with him, where it's just this messy journey. And if you are, again, because my YouTube channel is about how to go from not doing your kingdom work to actually doing your kingdom work. And along that journey, there are likely going to be hundreds of thoughts like this, where you are going to come up against what you think God thinks about you, about your work, about the world. Like, how does he actually care if you do your kingdom work? Is he, just the way that you, if your mind drifts while you're reading your Bible, are you at the place that, like, have you arrived? Are you good enough yet? Like, those kinds of thoughts come up for us when we begin to do our kingdom work, and as we work towards doing that well. And just because you realize how human you are, and sometimes that's frustrating to us. And yet when it's in that place, like, it's in this place of realizing that I think that God micromanages me, to realizing, wow, he actually really loves me. And I'm gonna like make myself cry if I keep going down that not that rabbit hole, but that line of thought. But the thing is, like, I love creating a beautiful home. I love riding horses. I love doing crafts. I love spending time with my kids. I love spending time with my nieces and nephew. And I like, I love having a cup of coffee out on our deck in the morning. There are things that I just love to do. I enjoy finances. Like I like doing budgeting. I like figuring that out. I like it when things work. And so many of those things, I could guilt myself into feeling, well, this isn't godly enough, or this isn't like this is for me. This isn't really for God. And so I could just like work my way into a bit of a tizzy and thinking that this is so, that I'm kind of almost like putting the good God things on hold in order to do something that I just like, where I just need a breather and I want to enjoy this other stuff. Hey, it's me, Amy, here to interrupt myself to introduce to you the free Step of Faith 5-day mini course that'll take you from chaos to clarity, stuck to small stepping, and helpless to hopeful. Check it out in the description below. If you know what you want to do for Jesus, but despite your best efforts have not been able to make it happen, then this is for you. It's a simple course that is designed to help stop you from spinning your wheels and instead get traction and get moving in the right direction. It starts with the first small step and ends with a life well spent on Jesus. If you're ready to let me help you take that first small step of faith, then click the link below to sign up for free. But years ago, I can't say exactly when because I'm not really sure, but it was years ago now, and it is a constant thing that I have to keep on coming back to remembering that Jesus is, he loves his family. It is family first. He is not just about getting things done and accomplishing things and about like how fast can we make something happen and how big can it be. He is so family focused in such a, I almost want to say a heartbreaking way, because when I come up against this, I realize how much I'm just trying to get things done for him, to the point that I believe that he's a micromanager when I know in my head he's not. And yet when I go through an experience like reading my Bible and then thinking about what baskets to buy for my closet, that experience makes me realize like, wow, I think you're just about getting things done, and have to realize that I'm in his family and he enjoys me and he's like just this like he can just, I don't know how to put it into words, because sometimes part of me is like, oh, does he actually really enjoy me, or is he okay with the things that I want to do or focus on? And it just, there's not really a clean way to sum this up besides that, as you in your journey, like, I guess this is just me putting my messiness on video so that for you in your journey, when you come up against these messy spots in your walk with Jesus, then you can also just lay aside, like realize what is it that you're believing or putting on him, and how can you lay that aside? I become aware of it and lay aside and hold on to the truth and ask him for that truth. Like, who is he? And this is something that this is an ongoing thing for me, where I have to keep on asking him what he thinks about this. And as I'm redoing my closet or getting baskets for the closet, or when I go for a horseback ride, or when I'm sitting on the deck doing nothing, I have to work through, like, are you okay with this? Because I'm so just trying to get things done that but I want to know, who is he? And is he still the God who wants to walk with us in the cool of the garden? So in the garden, like in Eden, in the cool of the day. And it's not something that comes naturally or easy to me. And yet it's something that I'm longing to step into. So we'll wrap up with, thank you for watching this to the end. First of all, but we'll also wrap up with the need to know that as important as it is for you to do your kingdom work, it is equally, if not more important, for you to learn how to rest in him before you've done anything for him. How can you rest in him and know, like deeply know, let it sink into your bones? And it takes time, but let the truth sink into your bones that he enjoys you. And it's enough. Even as I say that, I'm like, but is it enough? I don't know if it's enough. No, but it is enough. And that is a journey that each one of us has to go on as we seek to follow him and to please him. How can we rest in him and his finished work on the cross? So that is all. Till next time.